Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a really striking piece of writing from July 2023 by Oluyomi Ola David. It's a profound poem simply titled Gratitude is Active, and it completely challenges how we typically think about being thankful.
Okay, let's dive into this. The very title of her work is a pretty bold statement right out of the gate. You see, she isn't framing gratitude as just some warm, fuzzy feeling that passively washes over you. No, she's framing it as a deliberate action, an actual verb. So, I want to pose this question directly to you as we begin. What does it actually mean to practice active gratitude? How exactly does her text challenge the conventional idea that thankfulness is just a fleeting emotion? Keep that thought in the front of your mind as we unpack the amazing contrasts she builds throughout this piece.
Section 1. Meet Oluyomi Ola David.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is her official branding. Looking at her logo from Oluyomi Ola David Insights, it instantly establishes her as more than just a poet. She's a highly structured modern thinker. She categorizes her output into technical insights, policy briefs, and contemplations, which really shows a deeply analytical mind at work.
Taking a look at her background, she proudly notes that she's Nigerian and deeply loves people. She's incredibly focused on global development and transformation, and she actually enjoys the process of generating solutions and providing clarity to influence policy and strategy. But crucially, she is driven by a deep faith, stating that her Father God owns and rules the universe. Knowing this is a real game changer because it helps us see why her poetry is so structured and solution-oriented. She writes with the exact precision of a policy influencer and the unwavering conviction of her faith. Section 2. The Foundation of Faith.
So the crucial point here is how she sets up these totally stark, back-to-back contrasts. On the left, she writes, "Obedience is always priority," and "refuge is always strong." These are absolute positive truths in her worldview, offering immense stability. But then on the right, she asks, who condones rebellion and who likes sinking sand? She deliberately contrasts her positive imagery of safety and structure against the absolute foolishness of choosing chaos and instability. And that logic leads directly into this really fascinating statement. Faith is always thankful. She draws this inherent, unbreakable connection between belief and gratitude. Basically, if you have faith, she argues, thankfulness is just the natural, active byproduct. And then she follows it up with this rhetorical question. Who envies doubt? Let's pause deliberately and really think about that for a second. I mean, who would actively look at doubt, anxiety, or uncertainty and actually feel jealous of it? Literally nobody. She uses this question to let the sheer absurdity of choosing negativity sink in.
Section 3. Nourishing the Mind.
Notice how she continues her pattern of contrasts here. On the left, plenty is always friendly, and fresh oil is always refreshing. She's evoking the revitalizing nature of abundance and newness. Now, contrast that with the right side, who courts poverty and who rubs stale oil. Again, she's asking us why anyone would willingly seek out destitution or apply something old and spoiled to themselves when pure abundance is right there. She reinforces this whole idea with incredibly vivid sensory language. Oven fresh is always tasty. It's such a warm, universally understood image, isn't it? She uses this comforting metaphor to represent the deliberate, good choices we can make for our minds and our lives.
And this brilliantly illustrates her central point. After giving us that warm image of fresh bread, she hits us with this blunt, jarring rebuttal. Who eats moldy loaf? It's visceral. It literally makes you recoil a bit, which is exactly what she intends to happen when we realize we sometimes settle for mental negativity. She does the exact same thing with this stark water metaphor. Pure spring is always welcome versus who drinks polluted water. She's showing us that consuming negativity, doubt, or bitterness is a deliberate, profoundly unhealthy choice. It's literally like scooping up a glass of polluted water when a pure spring is flowing right next to you.
Section 4. The Fruits of Action.
I want to draw your attention to this highly intriguing phrasing. Peace is always kitted. Now, in her context, kitted means equipped, geared up, or prepared. For her, peace is absolutely not a passive state of just doing nothing under a tree. It requires active preparation and readiness. To counter that active preparation, she asks, who uses nothing? This completely highlights the folly of walking through life unprepared, unequipped, or disengaged from your surroundings. You have to actually use the tools available to you.
Let's move on and see how this builds directly into our final agricultural metaphors. Seed is always potent, and garden is always green, sit on the left, full of beautiful living potential. On the right, she writes, who plants bitterness, and who eats gravel? I mean, the incredible harshness of eating gravel perfectly encapsulates the destructive, painful result of planting bitterness instead of a potent, life-giving seed.
Section 5. Why gratitude is active. Based on her deeply structured work, we can define active gratitude as the conscious, ongoing choice to seek out the positive, the pure spring, the green garden, rather than passively accepting the negative, the polluted water, the gravel. Through her comparison, she completely proves that gratitude is not an accident of circumstance. It's a series of deliberate, daily, active choices to align with faith, plenty, and peace.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought inspired by her closing metaphors. What kind of garden are you actively growing today? Are you deliberately planting seeds of potent gratitude, or are you just chewing on the gravel of bitterness? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope her words inspire you to make your gratitude an active daily pursuit. Catch you next time.